Hello and greetings from Iceland. This video was supposed to be a thermal drone special only. Then I remembered that this nice row of critters that I used to test the drone, they deserve a full story since, as you see, this is a hot region and also an important part of a way larger story of seismic unrest on the Reykjanes Peninsula. And the next eruption might just as well take place nearby, so we will be checking out the big picture with traditional drone footage as well. And we start with this map, zooming down on this part of the Reykjanes Peninsula. This is where a magma intrusion was detected last year that almost led to a large-scale evacuation in Grindavík and the Blue Lagoon itself. So things got very serious and the civil defense held a meeting in Grindavík preparing the residents to leave the town, since this was in fact magma intrusion number 4. The first one occurred around here at 3 to 4 kilometers depth. And number 2 was at 8 to 13 kilometers depth and belonged to the westernmost part of the peninsula. It might be the same system that has been teasing us recently with offshore earthquakes, but we will get back at that later. And the magma intrusion number 3 was almost at the same spot as number 1. And a year later, an eruption started on the mountain Fagradalsfjall, and the magma intrusion number 4 started a year ago. And again, it was believed that it took place between the Blue Lagoon and the town Grindavík. And that was only a few months before eruption number 2 started on Mount Fagradalsfjall. So it was this 4th magma intrusion that made me start to wonder, can a magma intrusion be detected before it breaks through the final meters of the crust? And I'm actually not convinced that magma on the way can be detected unless it's getting very close. Thermal camera might be able to pick up hot gas coming up from fractures and such. However, I was just reading yesterday that the bedrock here turned out to be solid at 5 kilometers depth, or the reason why those 3 intrusions sputtered and failed. But experts say that something will give in if the magma keeps on coming, and if it will not be exactly here, it will be somewhere close by. So let's look at Eldvörp. It is our main subject today, and the name means flamethrowers. And the surrounding lava covers 20 square kilometers, and at the other side of the highway, only a few kilometers away, we have another similar row of craters, almost as impressive as the Eldvörp craters, but it's the name of this crater row that's even more impressive, or Sundahnjúkagígaröðin. So I had the name printed on a mug a while ago with the names of other lava fields on the peninsula, because it's the best possible practice you can get in Icelandic. And I will do a thermal flight over the Sundahnjúkagígaröð later, but this is how it looks from where the magma intrusion took place, with the Blue Lagoon to the left, and if it were to erupt there, this would be the path of the lava into the town Grindavík. And this trip was a bit challenging for the thermal camera since this was a sunny day, plenty of false readings from the thermal camera, but it was a good practice to get the settings right, or this footage from the Eldvörp craters. The craters date back from a volcanic tectonic episode from the 13th century, and this is one of the features in our landscape that deserves way more attention. And it was hard to get any good information about them in Icelandic. Most of the reports I found were made for energy companies with limited entertainment value for volcano nerds. So I did a little browsing and found an article on the Volcano Cafe website that caught my full attention, so I'm linking to it. And the author claims with seismic data that there is a magma chamber by those chain of skerries standing just by the island Eldey, which emerged from the seabed during the same volcanic episode that created the Eldvörp craters. And there was actually an island there, close by those skerries, or before Mother Earth issued a credit invoice and it submerged in 1830. And this is from Wikipedia. It's one of the few maps showing the island Geirfugladrangur and the skerries, Geirfuglasker. And Geirfugl is the name of the extinct bird, the great auk. And on this same Wikipedia page, you can actually find the only existing image of the lost island. Technically, this drawing seems to be an important predecessor to surrealism, and we can easily feel the emotional intensity through this slightly rebellious and even nihilistic approach from the artist. So this valuable artwork is now available on a mug in my online store, because this might also be the last drawing showing the extinct bird geirfugl. And those unfortunate birds, they could not fly, which made them easy prey, and a homeless prey after Mother Earth took their island away from them. So after 1830, when their island was submerged, they had to move to the next island there, Eldey, and it is of course a wonderful thing to be able to say that my forefathers were nature conservationists, that did everything humanly possible to protect the last remaining pair of this unfortunate homeless bird without wings. But sadly, it's a story I can't tell you, because my forefathers hunted down the last pair for days so they could eat them with potatoes. So I don't think that we have a good karma going on there. So let's look better at this connection between the island Eldey and Eldvörp. This article I mentioned goes on to say that there is a continuous feeder tube from the magma reservoir somewhere under the Skerries, with an upward angle all the way to Eldvörp on the mainland. And the chemical composition in Eldvörp is the same type as can be found in Eldey and the Geirfuglasker. And I found this to be a very interesting bit of information. This is not from a science paper, so feel free to tell me what you think. Because if this is in fact a dike, it crosses two volcanic systems on the way, and kind of messes up how experts have defined those systems on the Reykjanes Peninsula, and suggesting that this is in fact just one system. And then we have Mount Fagradalsfjall, where it erupted, the third system. I heard an Icelandic expert say a while ago that it looked as the magma from there came from more than one source. So it's something there that was confusing them. But then it's even more confusing for me, since we get so little information of this kind. And what is the connection between the land uplift by the Blue Lagoon and the eruption on Fagradalsfjall? But the bottom line is that I'm just trying to find simple, basic explanations that most of us can understand. Like, why are those craters so hot? It's been like this for a long time, and I can't see any mud pools, fumaroles, and should you say the standard hot spring features. So my question is, at what depth is the magma and the water causing this? Since I know that I will be getting this question in the comment section. So this is one of the videos when I was burning up time reading extremely dull reports, trying to get one simple answer to a simple question. So to make up for it that I didn't find the exact answer now, I'm adding some bonus features to this video. Or what did my ancestors do with the energy there? And there we are deep into the history of the fishery village Grindavík. Those craters were most likely the largest and perhaps the first public bakery in Iceland, or baking facilities used by a whole town. Women from Grindavík used to come here to bake bread in the steam from the lava, and this was so big part of the life there that this left us with an old trail from the craters and into the town, and it is called Brauðstígur, or the Bread Trail. And that trail is also a good idea for hikers, because it's hard to get over some of the rough lava there. And the craters do therefore have this great historical value, because we Icelanders are known for having some of the worst bakeries in the world. And this place might just be where that seemingly never-ending disaster began. But this was a detour. And the ancient human settlement can also be found around here, like fish was stored and processed around here, and it's been speculated if it might have been a warehouse around here to hide the fish products from the crown officials during the Danish monopoly trade, or literally an Icelandic underground movement in caves. And it has also been speculated if the people in Grindavík used this place as a hideout, or after the pirate slave raids from Northwest Africa took place in Iceland the summer of 1627, where close to 400 people were captured and sold into slavery. So those craters are not just a task for geologists, they are a worthy challenge for historians and archaeologists, since we simply don't know so much about what this place was used for. But I have to wonder though, although nothing has been written about it, or was the geothermal energy used to dry salted fish? Fish was often sun-dried, or when we got some sun, so it must have been a huge benefit to have this heat source just outside the village. And progressive townspeople would certainly have tried to find as many ways as possible to take advantage of it. So the Eldvarp craters and the caves have many secrets, and it is some tourism going on there. But still at the early stages, many of the caves around were actually shut down due to gas pollution during the magma intrusion a year ago. So it is best to be careful around there. And this complete row of craters has been the subject of controversy for a long time, or this almost constant debate between environmentalists and energy companies. On the one hand, we have energy companies in a country that produces 20 times the amount of electricity that the consumer market needs, so the rest is sold to industrial giants, which provide jobs instead. Or how far should we go up that path? Like, should we sacrifice unspoiled row of craters like this, knowing that the energy will be used to mine bitcoins? So I'm getting into a hot topic there, and I don't have time for it in this video. And there are of course two sides to this story. This is not black and white. There would be no Blue Lagoon without the water from the nearby power plant, Iceland's tourist hotspot #1, and there would be no road to those craters if it wasn't for a hole that was drilled there a while back. But Mother Nature intervened. The well didn't produce enough, but we were left with the road and the car park, or the basics, to make this into a tourist destination. So there are many sides to this story if it's going to be presented fairly. And I will do so someday, since this is a good topic for my channel. And if you are traveling to Iceland, I'm leaving a link to the craters, the location, and those of you who have been here with me on the channel since the 2021 eruption started, you might remember what I said back then about the official tourist boards on the Reykjanes Peninsula. They seem to have no clue about how good product they have with this land. And while politicians are constantly talking about the need to get tourists to spread more around the country, we have all those fantastic roads on the Reykjanes Peninsula, and many of them are often closed for no reason. So if this would happen to be my constituency, I would vote for the sheep, because they know more about the value of tourism around here than any other local politician. The road toll is modest, and unlike me, they love Icelandic bread, confirming that it's only usable for one thing. And with that, I'm sending you best regards from the volcano island without proper bakeries, Iceland.